Joe Biden expands health insurance coverage for 100,000 migrants. In the U.S., Iowa will face lawsuit if it acts on immigration law, Department of Justice warns. Mark Hamill kicks off White House press briefing after meeting the president, reveals Joe Biden expands health insurance coverage for 100,000 migrants. In the U.S., Iowa will face lawsuit if it acts on immigration law, Department of Justice warns. Mark Hamill kicks off White House press briefing after meeting the president, reveals Joe Biden's Jedi nickname.
Trump's potential VP picks and major Republican donors are coming to Mar-a-Lago. 0. Biden awards Presidential Medal of Freedom to Nancy Pelosi, Al Gore, Michelle Yeoh, and more. 0. Kristi Noem calls dog shooting report fake news, but insists on need to kill animal, and Noem backpedals on anecdote in book about meeting with Kim Jong-un.
Count of white nationalist Nick Fuentes. The UN urges Spain to adopt the necessary measures against the laws of Concord of PP and Vox. Over 100 far-right militias are coordinating on Facebook. Stony coral tissue loss disease is shifting the ecological balance of Caribbean reefs. Researchers determine large numbers of wild mountain goats are killed every year by avalanches. Fisheries and Oceans Canada investigates the causes of the increase in sedimentation at Grande Entree in the Magdalen Islands.
Scientists discover the genetic mechanism that determines sex development in butterflies. 0. Research discovers plants utilize drought stress hormone to block snacking spider mites. 0. Chinese scientists extend mouse's life to human equivalent of 120 to 130 years using blood from younger mice.
CFO and CCO of Cred LLC charged with a market value of approximately $783 million cryptocurrency-related wire fraud conspiracy. Z Casino scams suspect arrested, $12.2 million seized by Dutch authorities.
Japan sells itself as Global South's China counterweight, with whistle-stop tour of Africa, South Asia. 0. India, Japan dismissed Biden's xenophobic comment. 0. India imposes export duty of 40% on onions, exempts duty on Bengal gram imports. 0. Russia introduces temporary ban on sugar exports.
Chinese scientists create water battery that can hold much more energy than lithium cells, claimed in a study. 0. Nanostructured copper surface shows potential for transparent antimicrobial surfaces in touch displays. NSA, FBI alert on N. Korean hackers spoofing emails from trusted sources. 0. Personal data of 110,000 people leaked after breach at Hong Kong's company's registry, investigation finds. 0. Hackers increasingly abusing Microsoft Graph API for stealthy malware communications.
TASS reported that FSB eliminates Ukrainian saboteur who arrived in Russia from Lithuania, and Vilnius says Russian FSB's allegations about saboteur from Lithuania are disinformation. 0. 3 bodies found after Australian, U.S. surfers go missing in Mexico. 0. Canada police arrest hit squad suspects linked to Sikh leader Hardeep Singh Nijjar's murder.
Georgian Prime Minister accuses U.S. of fueling revolution attempts. 0. Cuba sentences 22-year-old mother to 15 years in prison for publishing videos of protests. 0. Thousands rally in Slovakia to protest a controversial overhaul of public broadcasting.
Putin's low disapproval rating shows people feel impact of his work, announces Kremlin. 0. Iranian hackers impersonate journalists in social engineering campaign. 0. Joseph Goebbels' unwanted lakeside villa set to be given away for free. 0. Italy bans puppy yoga classes amid welfare concerns. China launches historic mission to retrieve samples from far side of the moon. 0. Germany opposes IRIS-2, the European Starlink deemed too favorable to France.
UN announced that, 6 months into the war on Gaza, over 10,000 women have been killed, among them an estimated 6,000 mothers, leaving 19,000 children orphaned. 0. 34 GOP senators call potential Biden plan for Palestinian refugees national security risk. 0. IDF engages in limited Gaza, Lebanon ops waiting for word on Rafah. Erez crossing opens.
Sending NATO troops to Ukraine to lead to dangerous escalation, says top UK diplomat. 0. Britain confirms plans to double rocket artillery fleet. 0. IRIS-T anti-air system firm's factory on fire in Germany. 0. In Canada, military raked by critics online after unveiling new army logo. G7 eyes plan on US-led $50 billion aid package for Ukraine, and reportedly, Russia's friends beg EU to leave frozen assets alone. 0. Peace formula on Ukraine to succeed. If West halts arms supplies, announced the Russian diplomat, and weapons delivered to Kiev end up in West. 0. Trump considering new 3% NATO defense spending target. Reuters reported that Embraer counters report of new jet, says no major capex plan. Recently Financial Times reported that Embraer explores options for aircraft to rival Airbus and Boeing. 0. United, American strike deal on $8.5 billion Chicago O'Hare Airport revamp. 0. In the U.S., Department of Justice to decide if Boeing breached prosecution deal by May 28. Coexistence of Palestine, Israel possible if Israel's security guaranteed, claims Blinken, and Israel gives Hamas a week to strike a deal, or Rafah offensive will begin. 0. U.S. tells Qatar to evict Hamas if it obstructs Israeli hostage deal. 0. Gaza truce talks set to restart in Egypt with hopes for deal, as Egypt, Israel, Qatar, U.S., Hamas to hold consultations on Gaza in Cairo on May 4. 0. Hamas says Israel's Benjamin Netanyahu trying to derail Gaza ceasefire deal.
Forbes lists 20 zombie tokens with a market value of more than $1B. 0. Fidelity says pension plans are starting to explore crypto in $4.7 trillion opportunity. 0. Bitcoin's wild price swings point to the rising influence of ETF buyers.
In $68 million crypto heist, scammer strikes using address poisoning. 0. BTC operator Alexander Vinnick pleads guilty to money laundering conspiracy. 0. Friend.text token falls 98% following airdrop fiasco.
Percy Jackson and the Olympians Season 2 will begin filming fall of 2024. Zero. The Maze Runner reboot in the works with Transcendence, scribe Jack Paglin and talks to write.
U.S. and allies press UAE over Russia trade sanctions. 0. U.S. sanctions official to visit Malaysia over funds flowing to Iran, Hamas. 0. U.S. spies see China. Russia militaries working closer on Taiwan.
Denmark to liberalize its abortion law to allow the procedure until 18th week of pregnancy. 0. 60% of young Koreans see no need to have kids after marriage. 0. In U.S., Utah launches Snitch Line to report trans people in bathrooms.
U.S. health officials warn dairy workers are at risk from bird flu. 0. In USA, Florida, DeSantis signs bill banning lab-grown meat. 0. In the U.S., Biden and Harris administration announces $3 billion to replace toxic lead pipes and deliver clean drinking water to communities across the country.
Evacuations ordered. Homes damaged in Texas as rivers surge to Hurricane Harvey levels. 0. Southern Brazil has been hit by the worst floods in more than 80 years. At least 39 people have died. 0. More than 100 weather records melt in Vietnam as heatwave blazes on. Fake beaches are popping up online and you can blame Pokemon Go players. 0. Alan Wake 2 hasn't turned a profit 6 months in and there's no Steam release in sight, but Remedy says it's in control.
World's largest clean energy park, with 30 gigawatts capacity commences in India. 0. UK's new climate action plan unlawful due to delivery risk, High Court rules. 0. Lithium-free sodium batteries exit the lab. An the U.S. production.
Majority of Americans over 50 worry they won't have enough money for retirement, claimed in a study. 0. Europe's East will soon overtake Club Med for living standards. 0. Hong Konger conned out of 1 million Hong Kong dollars by lawyers who promised to help her recover money lost to her internet lover.
Mercedes says 80% of all G-Wagons are still on the road. 0. The 820 brake horsepower Ferrari 12-cylindry is named after its mighty 9,500 RPM V12 engine. 0. Doing a brake job on a Mercedes-Benz SLR McLaren can cost more than $100,000.
Billie Eilish fans recoil as UK ticket prices top Taylor Swift and Beyoncé. 0. 616 in LA. Kendrick Lamar escalates Drake feud as he releases second diss track in 1 week. 0. Tennis legend Boris Becker discharged from bankruptcy court in England. In the U.S., automakers want AM radios out of cars. Congress is about to require them. 0. Tesla versus Tesla. U.S. carmaker sues Indian namesake for copying trademark. 0. Geely's EV maker Zeekr seeks to raise $368 million in U.S. IPO. 0. A Jeep Gladiator 4 XE plug-in hybrid coming in 2025. U.S. SEC charges auditor BF Borgers whose clients include Trump media with fraud. 0. Donald Trump says he wasn't sleeping in court, but simply closing his beautiful blue eyes so that he could listen intensely, and Trump pays $9,000 gag order fine in 2 installments. 0. Boris Johnson, who brought in UK voter ID rules, is turned away from